TOMz.
What's happening, beautiful people of Mzansi? Allow me to welcome you to the home of ultimate science and tech edutainment.
And make yourself at home because namhlanje we are going to take you on quite an interesting journey.
This right here is the one and only TOMz right here on Mzansi's #1 channel, SABC 1 Mzansi for sure.
By now you should know that we SABC Education City Tank is
And by now you should know ukuthi igama ke usiya and lona ubongi.
Inshallah kanye ke wena ke siya. Welcome back to Nalison TOMz bakaloku sizabe sinithatha on a very interesting journey. Kwani yazi ba asingabantu abathethe into ogqiba bangathi dili.
Uyayibona.
Lenyani kaloku.
So why don't you tell them ukuthi kahle kahle uhambo lethu namhlanje lusaphi?
Well, it's something ke bethlane yabandakanye, the use of things like force, chemical reactions, when I gear, when I liver, and all sorts of other chemistry and physics principles.
Angeke lonto le sound very very complicated.
Let's rather say complex, they are not complicated ngoba kaloku namhlanje we'll be looking at complex mechanisms.
Ayasibona namhlanje siniphatheleni la ku TOMz. Coming up on TOMz,
we find out what exactly is a complex mechanism.
Ever wondered how exactly a car is assembled?
We have our very own locally designed electric car.
Check out some awesome apps for your mobile device.
Why kaloku sifumana amazwi engcebisa bethunani kwiindwendwe zethu zanamhlanje apha enkqubeni. Kuzaba mnandi kube lolo sibise roof masambeni.
Yo, I don't know about you, Bongisipo, but mina la sengi-excited. But you know we cannot give you everything on a silver platter. So lapha emakhaya sifuna ukwazi ukuthi kahle kahle nina ngicabanga nama-complex mechanisms. And here's what you guys had to say.
So I want to know, what is complex mechanism?
I'm not the science type of guy. I think it's complicated mechanistic.
Yeah.
Something like that. Complex mechanism. No. Like an idea.
No clue.
No clue.
How do you think a car is assembled?
Assembled. It's obviously mechanistic.
Yeah.
It runs on fuel. You know those scientifical. Car.
Yeah.
Different ways.
Yeah.
A car is assembled.
Yeah.
A lot of mechanic stuff. That's all I know.
But there would be acid, then what's the tire, what you the body.
Have you ever heard of an electric car?
Yeah, somewhere.
Where?
I think on TV.
Never ever heard of it. Ever. Have you ever heard of an electric car?
An electric car? Never heard of it.
Never seen one before?
No.
Ever? Do you think there is one?
Yeah, I think there is one.
And how does it work?
Wow, interesting stuff, right? Now, but imagine all the cool and very necessary things that complex mechanism actually allows to do.
That's what I assume that almost everything we use uses this tech somehow.
From imoto to clocks to moya to sewing machines and thousands of other things that actually make use of the technology.
And thanks to them, and also take off some of the strain off the human body.
Or rather, what are the various mechanisms?
Well, I think we have just the answer to that.
Complex mechanisms, there are many different types that do many different tasks, but at different chemistry and physics principles. Masatike rotary engine the complex mechanism principles as forces, pressure, combustion, and the rotation of gears to generate power. Now, what about the constant velocity joint, or the CV joint for short? Into yenza joint is a drive shaft to transmit power through variable angles at a constant rotational speed without any big increase in friction. Now, these complex mechanism as like sewing machines, radial engines, aircrafts, or even steam engines. Now, Zoiga are different actions in a specially engineered sequence, all in the purpose of performing one single action.
I realize that cars seem to have a whole lot of complex mechanisms in them.
Don't even give it a second thought when they turn the key in the ignition button.
Do they even think of all the work that went into putting it together?
I'm sure that they do actually do that. Why, like everything else, we way ahead of you on this one too.
Yeah, Fresh Boys still on a mission. Bafetha kubanga topic at namhlanje a complex mechanism. Or touchdown at Roslyn, a car factory. Uzofuna abantu ukuthi imoto kahle kahle ichunwa kanjani from start to end. It's you and me in this mission. Let's get it. Dumela tate Ligai. Welcome to TOMz. Okay, and to our viewers at home who don't know you, can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your profession, Noguti Sugupi Manch?
Okay, nakalibito ke Paladi Teni Malaka. And then the plant tour guide for BMW.
Yes.
Roslyn. So normally kita kibitua hangata ge gona le baeng ba batlang go tseba ka koloi BMW.
Can you please tell us about the process of the car being made from scratch?
Re tla simolola go body shop. Body shop ko re lebella thata body ya koloi. That is why re bitsa area eo body shop. And then from there re tlo fetela go paint shop. Then it tla go lining e ba bitsang sealer line. But before e bile re isa go sealer lining, we itse gore is spendile 45 minutes. Ka mo gare ga tanka
Still hot.
Blistering hot. So the car is a fisa. Re tshwantse re beye mo le side gore e fall. From there ha re le happy gore koloi e fodile. Ke gona e ya go sealer line. Mo ba no batho ba ka thoma go e tshwara.
Okay.
Because tlabe ba se in danger ya gore ba ka fisa menwana bona. Ge re fetsa re tsia tsona di parts tse tharo tse ra di kopanya eo ya go pele re bitsa front end. Ge re fetsa mo ka no re tshwantse re itse gore koloi e re aga type tse pedi tsa dikoloi, left hand drive kapo right hand drive. Normally tsa letsogo la left dia America le Canada.
Okay.
And then tsa steering se ka mo right dia mafatshe a otle a berekisang tsela ka mo letsogong la right yana ka South Africa.
Okay, so tell me why are you guys using robot instead of using people? And because I saw some people inside the factory. What do those people do now?
Ake arabe simple ka hore ira le mo yona ke technology.
Okay.
Right? So technology ya rona re tshwantse rena re le BMW Roslyn re compete le di BMW tse di le fatshe lo lotle. Dan bona ba setse ba introduce di robots pele ga rona. So le rena gore re be on the same par le bona re tshwantse re berekise di robots. But then se se botlhokwa ka robot ke gore robot always it will be precise.
Okay. Okay, so they're back at the body shop, ne?
Yeah.
Tell us more about the robots that work there.
Okay, go body shop. Bona renale like 193 robots.
Okay.
Otokra renale 4 types of robots. Where some robots we already bita welding robots. Kamanzama the welder fail. And then the other type revita a handling robot.
Okay.
So inale letsogo la go kuka. Yes, that's why revita handling robot. Each robot is programmed gore wena ge party e fitla mo wena go bia di spot welds tse rile. Then koloi ha itswa ka mo body shop ya go metal finish line ke mo re hanga mabati re hanga bonnet defender boot lid mmelo wa koloi o feletse.
Okay.
Then gora gore e ready ya no go ka ya go pente.
Okay.
Go paint shop gore tlo e pentang bote. Thereafter koloi tshwantse tsene ka mo re apesa mmelo o tlwa koloi ka ntwe re bitsang phosphate. Jaanong eo 200 degrees centigrade ke bollo ba tanka eo. Harrisonary koloi if spend about 45 minutes in that tank.
Yo, one car
In that tank 45 minutes. It protects you against corrosion, it protects you against erosion,
Yes.
it protects you against rust.
Yes, yes,
That is how we prepare the car.
yes.
Wow! Talk about really amazing tech, right?
Crazy stuff, right? You know, Angazi Jagi, how much goes into all of that?
Now here's what you guys won't believe me. We've got something way cooler, guys. Question is,
Ever heard of Freedom One and their locally designed electric car? Even artists can engineer complex mechanisms. Meet the Strand Beast. All this and more after the break.
TOMz. TOMz.
Molweni kakhona kwayisenamkela ke mzansi akho nditshintshileyo ke iselikhaya kwaye ungqa phambili kwezesayensi netechnology entertainment apha emzantsi siya use-right
I'm
fresh
so right wena. Hle nami kuyo boy Sia and your girl Ubongi.
njalo kanye lenkqubo ke sithi xa sibize lethu nani i-teenagers on a mission and it is exclusively found right here kweli gumbi lase-SABC uba zantsi shizzle
And who do we have to thank for this show? Well, that's the good guys at the SABC Education.
injalo kanye nawo bethu nani uhambo lethu namhlanje finds us getting into the cool world of complex mechanisms.
Now we've seen some really interesting things about complex mechanisms, and we also got to see what's kahle abaleka kanjani empilweni zethu.
And kwaye bethu nani yazi into emnandi ngayo yinto ne even though it was all quite complex esiqonda uba kwenzeka mawathi phinini xa bekutheni
Kodwa ume kanjalo ke nabo there's still more. We are about to change the way you see the world as you know it.
nabe sandibana nathi kaloku as we plug into the current future with i-freedom one jonga apha bethu.
Your first boy Caddy still on the mission bafethu saqhubeka ngetopic yanamhlanje complex mechanism. Well, sizwile ukuthi la metals drift khona electric car. Sazi ukuthi kuphi? Well, it's this side or this side or behind me. Well, we're going to find it. Let's go. Halizelle, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm well, thanks, and you?
I'm great. I'm hot.
I know the feeling.
Welcome to TOMz.
Thank you.
So tell us, what do you do and where are we?
You are right now. You are at Freedom One, and we specialize in electric mobility and
Yes.
green energy solutions.
Yes. So what exactly is an electric car?
An electric car is a car that is driven by an electric motor and batteries. In our case, it is a lithium iron phosphate technology.
Okay.
So it's not a lead acid battery. It's
Okay.
a very high-tech, robust battery that can drive an electric car. So there is no gearbox in an electric car.
Oh.
There is no petrol tank. There is no exhaust system.
Oh.
It is all replaced with batteries and an electric motor.
Obviously, there was a lot of challenges, technical problems, getting shocked all the time.
Oh, you have no idea, Gadi. It was very challenging. There were definitely electrical shocks.
Of course.
Make no mistake. And obviously, it being a prototype, there are a lot of technical challenges which we had to work through because the original research and design didn't necessarily, once we actually had it in the making, work as we hoped it would.
Tell us, where did the idea of converting a standard car into an electric car come from?
It came from my partner and co-founder in Freedom One.
Yes.
As a little boy, he dreamt of owning an electric go-kart. And about 25 years later, the electric go-kart actually became an electric 4x4.
Yes.
And I give you Freedom One, an electric 4x4.
So I can see there's a lot of wires and there's like a huge battery and what's going on here?
There are two battery packs
Okay.
in Freedom One. This is the front battery pack.
Okay.
And then there is a similar battery pack in the back.
Okay.
But the battery pack comprises of 180 individual lithium iron phosphate battery cells.
Okay.
So each one of these little squares that you can see here is one cell. So in the front battery pack we have 70
Okay.
and in the back we have 110.
Okay. So of course you charge the car.
Yes.
And how long does that take? The
Right.
average charging point.
Okay. You can charge the car literally at any 16 or 30 amp power source.
Okay.
So a 3-pin plug,
Okay.
like your
Okay.
kettle or your
Yes.
toaster. And it takes about 4 to 5 hours to recharge if the full battery range has been used, which is 170 kilometers for this 4x4.
Okay. Okay.
If you've only perhaps done a 50-kilometer trip, it's about an hour and a half's recharge, and it's fully charged again for the next trip.
So what happens if like the car has like a problem and it gets stuck? Can you jump start the car maybe?
No, you can't.
Okay.
You can't jump start it. So it's just like your petrol car. You can drive so many kilometers and then you have to stop at the garage to refuel. So you plan your trip. Obviously, you can't go 300 kilometers today on your 170 kilometer range.
Yeah.
So you just make sure it fits into that range.
Okay, so apparently this car doesn't have a gearbox.
That's right. It doesn't have a gearbox. The axles, front and back,
Yes.
via the prop shaft, is connected directly to the transfer case. So essentially, the car is always in gear.
Oh.
Hence, there is no need to have an actual gearbox for you to change the gears.
So it's like automatic.
That's right.
Is there a different feel between the electric car and the petrol car when driving it?
There is.
Okay.
But in a good way.
Okay.
It's, number one, there is very little performance that is sacrificed. You've got the same power. The big difference, obviously, is the absolute silence. That is how you clearly know you are now in an electric car.
Yeah, of course, because there's no engine.
Exactly.
Okay, of course, this is an electric car. So
Yes.
what happens when it rains?
Nothing. In this
Okay.
instance, we don't have a cover on the battery so that people can actually look at the battery and know what's going on. I mean, you can 4x4 in this vehicle, so you can go through, your road puddles and mud splashes, and even as is, it's not a problem because these specific lithium iron phosphate battery cells, they are a robust technology that can take it.
Check out what this Dutch artist by the name of Theo Jansen has managed to do. Now, back in 1990, he built the strandbeers, which are large mechanisms made out of PVC that can move on their own. Now, these wind power beasts have crankshafts that act as spines. The beauty of these crankshafts is the fact that they can rotate. Now, this rotation is converted by 11 small rods into a walking movement. Now, what makes it all happen so smoothly is what is known as the 11 holy numbers, which is a set of numbers that determine the length of the 11 rods. Altering just one of these numbers by a fraction changes the walking pattern of the beast completely.
Now these complex mechanisms are really cool.
But no, guys, what I find really cool is what people have actually managed to do with them.
Especially that Freedom 1 car. I just love the fact that it's homegrown right here on Mzansi soil.
And that right there, Betrani, is exactly what we need. More homegrown innovation made for us and made by Tina, man.
So in Alapeka, if you happen to be sitting on such an innovation, then why don't we know about it?
Betrani, tell us so that we can share it with Mzansi.
So hit us up on Facebook, TOMZ, on Twitter at TOMz_SABC1, and even on Instagram at TOMzTV_SABC1.
We go back in time with just about the evolution of complex mechanisms. Get some useful engineering apps and get some cool advice from today's experts. Since you don't move, since you don't guys, stay tuned. We are coming back right after this.
TOMz. TOMz.
We are back and you are still tuned into the home of science and tech edutainment in Mzansi.
The one and only TOMZ, SABC1, Mzansi for sure.
Proudly brought to you by the SABC Education.
Now, we're trying to various complex mechanisms. Why? We've been trying to figure out how these mechanisms actually work.
And we even saw some really innovative tech that takes the world of complex mechanisms to the next level, to the future actually.
Before we get too comfortable, why don't we take some time to actually acknowledge the pioneers of the past, the people that actually helped us. Now, the history of these mechanics is said to originate from when man made a hand axe from chipping flint to form a wedge. Now, the next big advancement came through when Greek philosopher Archimedes discovered the principle of mechanical advantage in the lever. Now, what followed were Greek philosophers defining and calculating the mechanical advantage of 5 simple machines. Now, these were the lever, the windlass, the pulley, the wedge, and the screw. It was only in the Renaissance era that Galileo Galilei discovered that machines do not create energy, but instead they transform it. Since then, mankind has gone on to create mechanisms that could leave their forefathers truly amazed. Now think of turbines, gears, and even internal combustion engines. Some really cool things that exist thanks to the technology.
And there's the promise of even more cool things to come, especially from this generation of TOMz viewers.
If viewers as well, we have to meet them halfway by giving them the resources that they need to take over Elizwe. Because why else do you guys watch TOMz live?
Like, so so nina bafethu to keep on my smartphones when get them ready to download these awesome apps that we found just for you guys at home.
Want to know more about these various complex mechanisms? Well, I suggest you get yourself the Mechanical Animation app that will explain to you how some of the most common complex mechanisms work using easy to understand animation. Or maybe you want to go deeper into it. Well, I suggest in that case you would get yourself the Mechanical Engineering app, which has a whole lot of mechanical engineering courses. It even has video courses by actual professors. Pretty cool, right? Get it now.
So going out, now you want to get into this groundbreaking technology.
And Tina TOMz, we want you to get into it and create even more cool things.
What career
Well, check this out.
Now, if cars are your thing and you want to build some of the world's most reliable engines, then maybe a career as an automotive mechanist is a career for you. Now, TOMz requires you to do maths and not science in high school. Uzodinga a minimum of a grade 12 certificate in order to receive training from a Masita approved and accredited Masita training company. Kubaleka kakhulu to make sure that the institution is Masita accredited, and ungabheka their website for the full 411.
So take the advice, go out there and achieve your dreams, just like today's guests have done.
So from India, just to give you more inspiration, but uphume out there and do what you need to do.
Basically, obviously, while you're at school, it's a good idea to make sure you've got your maths and your science subjects. And from there, you are going to definitely need either a diploma or a degree in engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, so that you know what technology is out there. You can also do a lot of your own research to determine what does the alternate energy industry look like at the moment? What are the challenges? So it's a very, very good idea to keep yourself informed. You don't necessarily at this point already have to have all the information and all the knowledge, but definitely stay informed with what is actually happening in alternate energy at the moment, and from there the sky's the limit.
Social sessions
Namhlanje ke lapha Facebook siphethe uJeno oqala uthi ke TOMz na show Bongi, Kedi and Sia. I'm really learning a lot from you guys, presenting skills and information. Thank you so much wena for ukubukela uhlelo lwethu owesibili siphethe ba.
So uLemukhang uthi yena great show guys. Siyabulela ke bethu nani manifuna ufana nabo sekhabe ubathi inside
easy man lento TOMz on Facebook and on Twitter at TOMz_SABC_1 and even on Instagram TOMzTV_SABC1. Till then, Sinitina to keep tweeting. Exciting news, TOMz fans! This season, SABC launched with the TOMz t-shirt design competition.
Competition? Did you see I just say competition? Now what you must do is you must design a super cool image. And the image must have something to do with science and technology. Science, technology, TOMz, yes, yeah. Then what you do is you upload it, or rather you share it on our Facebook page.
Yeah, but it's my favorite now. The picture that gets most likes na on our Facebook page here, so be printed on the TOMz t-shirt.
Not only with Facebook, yeah, but with Twitter as well. When you can comment, then who knows, we might be delivering a t-shirt here.
And there it happens again. That's Zile, and we've reached today's very end of today's episode of TOMz.
But in fact, just the show, but you guys enjoyed the ultimate entertainment as much as we did, right?
But I don't want to take Bongi's word for it. I want to hear from you guys at home.
Well, in that case, I got a look money. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, guys.
Because you know we love hearing from you guys. And join us next time for another fresh episode of TOMz.
Next time, we're running out of energy. But wait, the scientists are actually working on a solution.
Discover the incredible element called hydrogen and how it can change the way we use energy.
We get a full tour of one of SA's top labs in hydrogen fuel. Why can we find out what they are doing to make this tech happen?
And be inspired by the power of women in science when we hang out with the lady at the top of hydrogen fuel in SA.
SABC1.
Mzansi, for sure.